The Economic Relief Program and Income Support Program both came to an end in September, leaving many uncertain as to how they would make ends meet as the economy struggles to regain its balance. In a wide-ranging press briefing on high-level meetings held with the IMF and World Bank officials, PS in the Ministry of Finance, Esther Gov'T, clarified how the government will look to provide a targeted approach at providing income support relief for persons moving forward.
So currently we have the Electricity Assistance Program, that's a form of income support. We have 4 categories of persons who will get relief on their utility bills for 6 months, starting October and ending in March of next year. And that includes all those who did get the income support in terms of the cash outlay and transfers, as well as other persons on the poverty list, persons living with disability, persons living with HIV, and so on. So this has been rolled out, and we estimate about 5,000 persons will benefit from this form of income support.
According to Gov'T, the government of St. Lucia is looking to head down the path of sustainable assistance in a bid to aid both persons and businesses negatively impacted financially by COVID-19.
We've given some assistance to Bell Fund, and as well as, like I mentioned earlier, your SLDB. That support to small businesses, micro, not just established firms, but it could be a household, an individual wanting to start a small business. They will get part grant and part loan with good terms, concessional terms, so that they can commence operations, employ some persons, and provide for their families. So when we said it's targeted, it's specialized interventions, get at specific groups within society to give some liquidity support, relief, so that they can survive and take care of their day-to-day needs.
Bolstering pre-existing social nets is also top of the agenda. That's according to Chief Economist in the Ministry of Finance, Janai Leos. He says a great starting point for the government has been the poverty list.
And that is why you have seen efforts to actually expand the number of households on that by an additional 1,000. As time goes on, we would see whether there may be even calls to expand that further. But the approach has definitely been where we have existing systems that determine whether somebody is poor, is indigent, or what have you, that we focus the efforts there and we strengthen those the level of support that is received there. So in some of our other assistance programs, we would have increased those by $100 or $200 in some instances. Let's see what the next 3 months, 6 months bring, and we may need to actually expand those further.
Furthermore, Prime Minister Alain Chastanet notes that efforts will be made to block seepage within the system to ensure that equity exists within structures put in place to benefit the poor and needy.
When we talk about restructuring the tax system in this country, so the idea that we're subsidizing rice, flour, and sugar, which is intended to help the more vulnerable people in our society. In fact, there are a lot of people who are benefiting from it. So there's money that's leaking out in the system. Our VAT rates, the idea that we're going to eliminate VAT or reduce the rate of VAT to help poor persons, but in doing it, everybody benefits from it. So what we've been talking about is adjusting those structures so that persons who can afford to pay are paying, and that money is now being made available to directly help support the more vulnerable in our society.
2,300 reportedly received income support during the 6-month period. The Prime Minister notes this figure does not represent the number of persons who qualified, rather the capacity that the government was able to afford. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.